I'm trying to understand your philosophy here, and I find it difficult to do.
Well, do you want to understand my philosophy?
Desperately.
You do? Well, then can you sort of be desperately silent for about 1 minute or 2 minutes? All right, I'll go with you. Three. All right, as far as I'm concerned, living in the world as it is, you don't have the choice of what's best. Every judgment that is made on the basis of alternatives. On that basis, I find myself totally committed to the fact that a free and open, what we call, roughly speaking, a democratic society is the best way of life that we have. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm willing to buy the Churchill definition that it may be this a lousy way of life, but it's the best way that we know of. Now, I find, in terms of my own acceptance and understanding of our political situation, I find myself very much in agreement with the thinking of the early revolutionary leaders. I'm thinking of men like Madison J. Hamilton, etc., who I think were extraordinarily politically sophisticated and very well read and very thoughtful in terms of the implications of their actions, and very much aware of the fact that of the world that they were living in. It was not, and they weren't getting it mixed up with the world as they would like it to be. But that this was a jump-off point, that they were heading towards a future where mankind could always be improving or living a happier life, full of potentials for, and you find yourself drifting into cliches here, of achieving his own dignity, freedom, equality, etc. Now, the one thing that they were concerned about in this kind of a life is that while things would always be changing, that basically, whatever future there was to the future of an open society, it rested in the fact of having as many people involved as citizens, being able to act as citizens, able to act power.
Freedom is participation in power, I agree.
All right. And that if we ever ran into a situation in this country where a large sector of our population was disenfranchised politically and economically, etc., and I'm not talking about equality in terms of equal income or anything else of that sort, but if we ever ran into that kind of situation, that it would very well become malignant and bring down the hopes for the future. As a matter of fact, de Tocqueville makes the same point in his speculations of future, this in a way of life. Now, what is involved here is, and I have to answer you on two levels here. One is a commitment to the development of the combination of circumstances in those sectors of our society that are disenfranchised, whereby through organization, which is really a synonym for ability to act in this world, the only reason people ever organize, in fact, in order to be able to put things into practice, ideas that they have, in order to belong, in order to have the power to be part of the...
To maximize the leverage, yeah.
Yeah. Or get leverage to even begin with, where they don't have any.
You got leverage if you can vote.
Yeah,
So
but there are large sectors of our population that weren't even able to vote.
You talking about Rochester?
No, I'm talking about Mississippi, I'm talking about the South, I'm talking about the whole basis in many sectors of this country in terms of the Civil Rights Revolution. You have to have that. You even have to have it, if I might digress for a moment, on the simple situation that, let's say, people are organized. You do not have that complex, it's called a political complex, I'm using political strictly in the Greek sense here, whereby through getting together, through having a convention, through having a election of officers, agreement on policies and so forth, that they can turn to other sectors of society and say, here are our representatives. These are the men for you to deal with in the democratic give and take and hauling, decision making, etc. Without this, which I think is a primary element in the democratic mix, the whole democratic society begins to founder.